so contrary. You're so contrary. We're just
morning.
talking about things that annoy you about people.
How long have you got?
And how long have you got? And this was born out of... well, Ruth's annoyance there was that when she got her first flat, she said, I just left the lights on all the time because my dad always told me to turn the lights on.
Because Emmeline's got in touch. We're talking about things that annoy you. She said, I've told my son I'm going to charge him £1 every time he leaves his bedroom light on. And
Yeah.
we do it to our son all the time. But I said, the reason I leave lights on is a complete throwback to my teenagers when my dad literally went on and on about who's left the lights on. So when I got my own place, I used to leave the lights on everywhere just because I could.
I only ever, when I was younger, left the lights on to deter vampires. That was the only thing, which you should be very worried about. That's what you should be worried about.
Well, the reason we're talking about... OK, here's what else that we are doing today. We're meeting the mother criticised for charging children to attend her children's birthday party. Found out why she's standing by that
And
decision.
a very good decision it was too.
OK.
Now, should you schedule time for personal things?
Sex, it's called.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
OK. We meet the love coach who says 6:30 on a Saturday morning is the perfect time for a bit of nookie-wookie if you want an intimate relationship with your partner.
Not if you call it nookie-wookie. You won't be doing any of that with me. Now, also, he's back with his money-saving deals. What have you got for us, Martin?
We ask if you should schedule wookie-nookie.
Sex?
For around, in around half an hour. Not that you should schedule it in around half an hour.
No, we
but
can't do that in half an hour because we'll be on here.
We're
but,
talking
if
here.
you want to,
yeah,
go ahead.
6:30 tomorrow morning is a good time, apparently. Martin Lewis deals just after 11 and move over Adele, that 12-year-old busker. She's from Cork and she does a lot of busking in Dublin. And we're going to have her performing for us at 11:15.
She's a star in the making, isn't she? I heard
Yes.
rehearse today. Some amazing young woman.
OK, from scheduling birthday parties to scheduling things that make babies. But does it take the romance out of marriage? That's what we're talking about. The love coach who says it guarantees intimacy.
At 6:30 on a Saturday morning, apparently. And in the wake of Formula One banning their grid girls, one former promo model turned stunt driver tells us why she's outraged at that decision. Doing that after the break.
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and watching us today on This Morning.
Yes, we appreciate it, don't we?
We do.
Otherwise, we'd be just talking to ourselves all
would.
morning. And still to come on This Morning, should you schedule your sex life? Sounds a bit unromantic, but maybe we're underestimating what it could do for your relationship.
Well, I'm just thankful. Whenever I've taken, whatever, that's it. The next subject, darling, is what?
Should you schedule sex? Say, right, I'll see you at 10 o'clock.
I'd take that, yeah.
You take that? OK. Or does it take all the romance out of it? We were discussing that in just a moment. We'd love to know what you think about it. Before all that, though, competition. We're giving away holiday home and £50,000 in tax-free cash, and Alison has all the details. Now, you can forget date nights because there's a love coach who says sex at 6:30 in the morning is the optimum time to have sex with your partner, and you should schedule it in like a job in your diary.
It's a bit early, isn't it?
Well, it doesn't have to be 6:30 in the morning, you know. It's about your comfort level. It could be 12:30, it could be 9 a.m. before work.
The reason Ernie says this is that it gives you pure, uninterrupted intimacy with your other half, and this is part of what you say is a sex plan that keeps the relationship fresh.
Yes.
So it's all about a little schedule.
Yes.
Could I just say to you, isn't it sad that it's come to that?
This is the world we live in. We are living a much busier life than our parents did. You know, with social media, with schools and extra activity after work. There's just so much that we actually forget we are in a committed relationship.
What if lust takes over at any time?
Oh, go for it.
Go for it.
That's like being presented.
But Ruth would say it's not 6:30 on a Saturday morning.
I said 6:30. I meant 6:30.
No. I'm not against spontaneous sex. For me, you know, spontaneous sex is like being offered a molten lava cake, rich dark chocolate with a bit of chili in there. You're going to say no? Of course not. You're going to say yes.
But how did this come about? Was this based on what was happening in your own life? Because you've been married, what, 18 years?
18 years,
You've
yeah,
got
19, yeah.
four children.
4 children.
So was this based on, like, you know, my husband husband and I are just not finding time for ourselves?
It started off very early in our relationship, where we were both busy couple. You know, I was an entertainer, and so I was out performing all the time, and my husband is, he's a consultant, so he's also travelling quite a bit. And then we realised that, you know, if we don't schedule it in, we are going to forget that we are actually a loving couple.
OK, well, Lucy Beresford is a psychotherapist beside this. What do you make of this, Lucy?
It saddens me, actually, because I think it turns something that's very romantic and emotional into a work chore, something that you diarise, and what you potentially miss is that amazing spontaneity, the playfulness that you can introduce into your relationship. So I do worry that it makes it something very workaholic, work a day. There is an element that says, you know, skin-on-skin contact that you have in a relationship is absolutely brilliant for embracing your relationship and making it work. But if you turn it into a chore, something diarising, I'm going to do the cat litter now, I'm going to empty the dishwasher.
And I kind of see, Arnie, your point is saying, look, if you don't make time, if you don't put it kind of in your schedule, we do it for everything else.
Yes.
Dentist, we've got this, we've got
exactly. That's
so
my point.
Somewhere, but even if it's just mentally.
Yes.
But then my worry would be, I'd say, oh, I've promised him now, and it might come to 6:30.
Yeah. It's not about...
not in the mood now.
I'm just actually saying we believe in this.
You're putting it in
Friday,
the diary.
Friday, June the 1st.
That's fine.
Yeah.
What time did I say?
I
mean, you know, there is a danger, isn't there, that, that then there's like a pressure on either partner.
And there could be resentment as a result of that pressure. And also, what do you do when communication is everything in a relationship? And sex is part of that communication. When it starts to fray at the seams, that can be a really good clue that something needs to be acknowledged or addressed in your relationship.
Totally.
If, however, you have got sex in the diary and it monotonously happens at the same time every week, you miss that opportunity to recognise that something might be going wrong in your relationship.
Well, for me, sex is a form of communication, and I look at it from a holistic point of view. It is not about the action, but I look at it also for it's a physical sport. So if you schedule time to go to the gym, why not schedule time for that kind of sport with your husband or your wife?
I think it reconnects you, doesn't it?
It is.
As well.
I mean, I'm not dogmatic about 6:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning, despite popular misconception.
You're just saying maybe before the kids get up,
we do decide that every weekend we decide that it's become such a habit. We don't even put it in the diary anymore. It just so happens like on a Saturday afternoon, my husband and I are like, ooh, we missed this morning. We're like, ooh, where are the kids? Put on CBBS, quick, run upstairs. See, this idea came about because I have 4 children, and when you're a parent with children and you have such a busy packed schedule, your sex life is going to be the last thing you will think about. Seriously. I've worked with women for 20 years now, and that's always one of the things we talk about.
Yeah, do you not think, Lucy, that it's just, even if you're not, I mean, I think people say, oh, you know, you imagine writing it in the diary or sticking it on the fridge. But it's just mentally to say, look, we need to schedule a time.
Yes, you need to pay attention. I don't know whether it's about scheduling. I think it's the word about schedule that really winds me up. It makes me think that it turns it
mental
into a chore.
note.
But it is definitely prioritising your sex life, particularly when you have children or if you have, you know, in-laws living with you. Everybody should know that there is a time in the week when you have that dedicated time in your bedroom. Nobody is allowed in. There's a lock on the door.
A tie on the
door.
door.
If you prioritise it, then everyone else will take that as a read as well. And it's a very important aspect of your relationship to still see each other as romantic people, as opposed to just parents or work people.
Exactly. That's where I'm coming from.
Yes, so you kind of agree, really.
Yeah,
it's
actually
just
we do.
word
love each other.
It's just kind of the word
I will not say no to a spontaneous action.
But also, I think it is this idea that if you have sex, if you make it too formulaic, you miss that exquisite opportunity to be able to recognise that any deviation from the norm is telling you something about the quality of your relationship.
Agree.
But if there is an issue, if there is ever anything that you need to discuss, but also if something has happened in your relationship, if maybe there is betrayal, infidelity, so maybe your partner is addicted to their phone, how do you communicate that if you've got something scheduled?
Well, guys, thank you, but unfortunately we've got the weather scheduled for this point every day.
It's not as exciting, but it's necessary.
Well, it's either sex or weather.
Thank you both. Thank you both very much indeed.
Thanks.
So, 6:30 tomorrow morning. Go for it. Here's the weather.
Well, that was very interesting.
It was. I love gifts. Ernie, before she rushed out, she gave me the Architect of Love book. Your perfect relationship starts here.
Thank the Lord.
I got to work on that.
Well, yes. Kimmy says
I could have that perfect relationship with.
This won't work when your kids wake up at stupid o'clock. Claire says, it may sound a little boring, but when you both work and you have children, you haven't had sex for ages because you're both tired, I think it actually works to plan for it. Sarah says...
What man's ever said, I'm too tired?
Not any man I've ever known.
No, exactly. And also, this morning business is not very sociable. Evening time is for that sort of thing. You get into an evening. You get into an evening. You create a mood as the evening goes on. The fire is burning. The wine is flowing. The music is
You're
playing.
slipping into a silk kimono at this point or something. Sarah says, I'd rather have more sleep than sex. There you go, Sarah. Anyway, thank you very much for your comments. Keep those coming. And still to come on this Friday this morning.